What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to go over what the KE is. For people that are new to the game, it'll be helpful explaining what the phases are and what it actually means. And for people who have been playing the game for a while, to give some tips on what you can do to maximize your spot or ranking. So yeah, first of all, what does KE mean? So you'll see it thrown around when you're new to the nation chat. They'll say the letters K and E. And what that stands for is kill event. And when you're first starting out the game, what this means is like every 2 weeks, you'll have like a week-long event. Right now, we're in the middle of it, in the cross nation. So this is where we fight other nations. So yours won't look like this when you're starting out the game, but when you've already entered cross nation battles, when you're battling different nations, it'll look something like this. And you'll have different phases, and we're in the monster phase, for example. But and then the reason they call it kill event is because the last event is always the event where you attack other cities or people to gain points. And since when you first start the game, it's always like a void war, it's essentially like, yeah, it's a kill event because you lose troops. Um, and when you're starting out the game, when you're only fighting within your own nation, that kill event lasts like 3 days. But for when you're entering cross-nation events, it's only 1 day long. And so what you'll often find out, at least it's like in this nation, probably a lot of other nations, is that like people will try to simulate what it would be like. So they might say like, oh, we actually can't attack the first 2 days because like a lot of times you don't want to force unnecessary um killings of your own like within your own nation because eventually the whole goal is to unite the nation to fight other nations. So if you actually treat every day like a kill event, that's like actually like 3 kill events because it should only be 1 day long, but then you're going to be killing people for 3 days straight. So oftentimes there'll be negotiations within the nation to be like, hey, we're just actually not going to allow protected alliances to be attacked for the first 2 days, but on the third day anything goes, or something along those lines. But anyways, we have something helpful here. These are the different phases and the different orderings that the phases can happen in. For example, if your first event is a construction event, which is basically you get points for building, upgrading your buildings, then that's automatically going to be followed by 2 days of recruitment. And then after 2 days of recruitments, you can either have a zombie hunting phase, which is 2 days long, or a harvest phase. And then the last one they omitted it here is always the kill event. This is kind of the iterations you can see um, for cross nation kill event. So the kill event and cross nations aren't always kill events. There's a frenzy, which you don't lose any troops or resources. And then there's void, which we're in void, which we actually lose troops and resources. And I can't remember, but I don't think the frenzy exists for in nation kill events, but I could be for not remembering that correctly. And yeah, so out of the different phases, the most important phase is the kill event itself because you get the most points from, attacking other troops and killing other people's your opponent's troops and stuff like that. And if you're in frenzy or just like, attacking wounded because everything's wounded. But yeah, essentially that's where you're gonna get the most point because like that's where it's geared towards the people who spend the most money in the game. And the second most points you can get is from recruitment phase because you can recruit a boatload of troops, and that also has like some like you could just buy a lot of recruitment packs, and and you bought a lot of officer skills or officer what you call it pieces to upgrade your Loreline and Barney. So for a money spender, they're gonna have not only 6 stars, but they're gonna have like that triple S recruitment speed, which I could kind of show you here because like you could be like, oh, this thing. So like a huge money spender will probably have, oh, it's blocked out because I only have the this increase the triple S increases troop recruitment speed, and they'll probably have like level 55 of Barney and Loreline, or something high relative to the rest of the nation, and then they might have like some island items that also recruit to bend. And then they might have a buff. For example, I asked for a buff to get the recruitment bonus, and then I'm going to ask the president for um both a window where I can be either the I have to go to the actual building to see what happens. Oh gosh, it's in the center. I don't know why I couldn't see it the first time. Um, so there's two positions, either the marshal that gives a 6% recruitment speed bonus, and the chief of staff, which is 5%. So since I'm not in the main alliance, oh yeah, well, I guess I never talked about how I work things out. Um, because we were having a civil war at some point, and then that got resolved. But obviously, I'd want this one just for the 4 hours. I think you have to at minimum assign it to someone for 4 hours before you can reassign it, because that's the +6. But I'll be happy with either this one, even this one. So basically, the recruitment phase, you want to get all the recruitment bonuses because you can just recruit a lot of points, and if you had bought a lot of recruitment packs or just saved up a lot of recruitment speed packs, yeah, you can end up scoring a boatload of points. Let me switch back to the main officers. And then the next phase that's worth points is the zombie hunting phase. Um, and my strategy here is like actually I'm first place in this one because I don't really participate in this phase as much because one, it's annoying, and like you have to keep your phone on and buy a auto kill recruitment pack and save up a lot of these what you call it, fuels. I've already used up most of them. Since I have such a huge lead, I'm not even going to use the rest of them. But essentially, I could just show you what you do is you buy this auto kill, you assign your queue, like 5 fleets you would want ideally, and then you can be like, oh, I'll use at most, you'd probably want a max, but you want to use up your 20 ones first, which I did already. But I'm just gonna for demonstration purposes, I'll use one. Use, and then you can start auto kill and see what it'll do is like it'll find the start attacking for you, and you just leave your phone on all day. So yeah, make sure you don't need to use your phone that often because like the bad things, what I do is I just dim the screen, charge my phone and leave it there. And it'll just like automatically attack for you. But so it's kind of annoying to actually do that because like sometimes you want to use your phone, and I don't want to buy a separate phone just to play a game. So and then the other thing you want to note is like, since there are going to be people with like super boosted up officers and stuff, because like mines are pretty decently boosted up for like fuel level 12, but someone who spends a lot of money might have a level 20 and then a level 55 officers. They're like 6 stars. Mine's only like five. And I guess Morgan's getting up there, but um, so they'll automatically have a way better recovery time. So that on top of that, they might, who knows, you could actually even buy those packs to, I don't know if I have any here, but I know they sell packs that you can even buy fuel. Um, so if you're like, that's why, for example, some of these people, like this guy, Dog, or Wolverine Diddy, like they're both on our nation. They're one of the top four money spenders. They'll always have a huge point advantage. So if you're not saving and you're just trying to compete without saving a boatload of these fuel items, which you can get from the black market. For demonstration, hopefully I can spin and get one just to show. See, you could buy like fuel. Um, unless you saved up a lot of fuel, you're gonna lose to them. So that's why it's better to just pick your time and when to go, when to shoot, because like well, either these people are farmers or because this nation doesn't really spend as much. I don't know how we got paired to them. I guess they either are very very disciplined and never and just shield all the time and only attack the weaker alliances, or they're just or just we got lucky and got paired up with a much weaker nation. But anyways, I usually don't see this many people participating that highly aggressively on zombie phase. And this is me the first time. I don't the last time I actually participated was like probably over a year ago or something. I try to do it when you have upgraded to a new city level with the new, and you're going to recruit a new recruit level, new troop type. For example, I'm getting the C-37 factory this time, so I will be recruiting a lot of T-12 shredders. So by default, I'll have a relatively high recruitment um, score. So because I'm recruiting a new troop type, it's my incentive to try on the zombie phase because I can, like you say, like 78 million. That's not like that puts me in the actual lead for because we've only had gathering in zombie phase. And then the next phase that's worth some amount of points is construction phase, but really it's not really worth that much. Even when you upgrade to like C-37, C-38 or something, it gives you like maybe 10 million. Like if C-38 might give 10 million or something. This I think it's C-37 only gave 7 million points. Um, and it's not worth delaying upgrading your buildings just to win one phase because, like, their phase reward, you only get like 2,000. Even if you get first place, you only get like um 50, what, 50 gold. So 2,500 gold. That's nothing. It's just like it's better to just upgrade when you need to. If you can time it without like sacrificing upgrading. Like, for example, when I upgraded to C-37, I started it right away, and it's like when it was going to end is like when it was going to end, and luckily it ended. The construction phase happened at a time where my building hadn't finished upgrading. But I would say this is not really a priority. I think the only people that really actually save are the people that don't spend money because they want to, you know, maybe upgrade all their buildings in one phase and maybe take the first spot because 2,500 gold's a lot to them because they don't spend any money. But if you even spend any kind of money, like it's just better to upgrade when you need to because joining on team attacks or even heck, participating in a zombie phase is going to give you way more points. And the worst phase of all is the gathering phase. Like even if you're first place, you only get like 1.2 million points. It's the most boring phase. I don't even bother. Like, sure, if you're a budget player or extreme budget player or free player, then always participate because you always get some gold. But if you spend any amount of money, that's pretty much a waste of time. Uh, or if you have time to waste, then go ahead. But it's basically nothing. So yeah, that's how you go about it. The reason I also focus on, in terms of which, uh, say you're not one of the highest spenders, say you're just like a budget spender, or like in the middle or middle top player, like I am. I obviously in the kill phase would not be able to compete with any of because we get matched up based usually we get matched up based on people of like the officer and titan power. So these four, even five people are way out of our leagues. Look how much like their 22 million officer power and like my officer power is like, I'm like number 15. So there's no way if people are in a discipline, these are gonna be the people to get all the points. But now, looking at this other, for example, we're facing Nation 983. I'm gonna go 983 to see what they're a relatively weak nation. We usually get paid. You see, like 15 million's the highest, and they're kind of like, they're, I guess maybe they have more, like, because like I would rank probably around 20 on this one, so maybe they're a little more spread out. Actually, this is probably a more fun nation to be in if assuming they have activity because not like four players are going to dominate the game. But the downside to this is like if they were to even try to defend or attack the main alliance, they would get crushed because like if any of our top four players are online, they're just like absolutely squash these people unless like these people are super active for some reason. They attack like 70 at a time. I really doubt it. But um so that's why either this my hope on this kind of nation is like they're super disciplined and they only attack the weaker alliance, and that gives me a chance because I'm not in the main alliance. Like they might attack one of our cities that dropped a shield, and I can reinforce. And in the void, reinforcing is good because you get equal points. Unlike Frenzy, in Frenzy it sucks because you only get half the points for defending, but in Void you get equal amounts. So some of these weaker people, or even like people within, like I don't mind as long, like even 8 million officer power. Usually I can do pretty well against those people. I might actually, they might try to attack it, not knowing that I'm like the only strong city there, and I can pick up a lot of points. But at the same time, if they were to be stupid and try to attack the main lines, they would just give away a lot of points. So ideally, I wouldn't want to be competing in this one, but it's still better to compete in Void than Frenzy, because Frenzy people are just gonna not care if they lose points and stuff because they're not losing their troops or resources, so they're more willing to take risks. So you're way less likely as a middle player to get a top spot. But in Void, the ideal scenario for me, for example, would be we face like when we were facing Nation 1020, when the other nation has the whales, because then it's we're at the disadvantage. Like if we were to make attack, well, this person has a maxed out Titan and 24 million officer power. Like when they have the whales, then the our main alliance is not going to be making attacks, and so the only people that were making attacks were their middle players from the Nation 2020, and I was able to actually reinforce, get a lot of points. And those are the kind of so you have to kind of scope out where your position is relative to your nation and how strong or weak the other opponent is. If you want to like pick your chance of like, as an underdog getting a higher spot. Because really I don't have a business being in the top 10 if I'm more like when there's like all these other when I'm clearly not in top 10 out of the both nations spending, but due to dynamics, like um for example in that 1020 that 1020 nation I was just showing, like our nation wouldn't attack, their nation's the only one to attack, but if we keep a shield, so then the only ones that were attacking was their the weaker players, not weaker, but like the middle of the road players were attacking our players, and I was able to score points and get like sixth place, which if I was on the main alliance, that would not be possible because they wouldn't have even attacked at all. Um, so that's how I pick my spot because like my hope is they're super disciplined and they make a couple sloppy attacks on my city, or not my city. I'm in the wrong spot because like I moved for the zombie phase. Like one of my players drops their shield back because this is more of like an academy alliance, and they're gonna be like, oh, it's free easy points, and they attack, and then I reinforce, and then my hope is also that their main players aren't line. Um, so that's also a risk too, but I could also withdraw early. Um, and some of my cities are scattered, like I don't even know where they are in the map. I only reinforce them across the map with speeds. And yeah, my hope is like that I score high relative to other people on the monster and recruitment phase, and that there's not much attacking going on. They maybe make one or two sloppy attacks where I can catch them off guard, and therefore even I have a relatively high score on the kill phase, and I can end up in a top spot, um, just due to the nature of things. So that's how I would go about picking when you want to go, what events you want to go really hard at. But yeah, if there are any questions, please let me know in the comments and I can address them. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful, and have a Merry Christmas until next time.